Dear all participants, today we are going to discuss entirely a new topic of technology that is on IPR, that means intellectual property rights. So since last 10 years the technology changes happened across the world, and that's why it is utmost necessary that we have to protect our intellectual property, and that's why the different terminologies like patent, copyright, trademarks, designs, etc. now included everywhere in the technical domain. So in this today's session we'll discuss a brief overview on the different facets of IPR, different kind of the rights that as an individual you can able to get from the government, and how to do so, that we will see. So before we begin, now I request to have a slides. So before I start, I would like to do some disclaimer. I have tried to acknowledge the sources at best possible. This presentation is not an attempt to unduly claim or infringe on anybody's intellectual property. This presentation is protected by copyright and it can be used for fair use purpose only. The matter disclosed can be used for study purpose only and not for any legal proceedings. So with this preamble, let me come to a different presentation outline of my session. In the first part, we'll discuss about the IPR basics, then patent in Indian perspective, patent at global perspective, then about the copyright, then trademarks and design, followed by we'll also see other types of IPR like geographical indication, semiconductor IC layout design, plant variety and farmers protection right, trade secret. Then because of the IPR, the changes happen in the government policy and changes happen in the GTU. So let's start with the first point, that is basics of IPR. So first question come in our mind, what is the meaning of intellectual property? So IPR is made up of two words, intellectual property and rights. So rights that we understand anything that is our own. So now the first part is very important, intellectual property. So let's understand it. So here in the slides you can see the currency notes. Can we say the currency note as an intellectual property? Answer is no. Why? Because through the intellect you can able to gain the currency, you can get a money, you get a good job, that's fine. But apart from that, there are many individuals who are illiterate, but because of their fathers and forefathers money, they become rich. So in that circumstances, even though they are illiterate, they have a very big amount of currency, even then big than you and me. So in these regards we can say currency is not an intellectual property itself, but it is a byproduct of intellectual property. Similarly, the next question, can we say gold as an intellectual property? I hope your answer is no. The reason is again same. Through the intellectual power you can gain money, from that money you can purchase the gold. So gold is not a direct property, but it is again an indirect product of intellectual property. For example, even like smugglers who are illiterate, they have like kgs of gold while we have only few grams of gold. So we cannot say the smugglers are having intellectual property in terms of gold. Similar way about the house, can we say house as an intellectual property? I hope you agree with me. Answer is no. The reason is same, because house can be owned from against fathers and forefathers will. So in that regards, even a lay person can have a big bungalow, maybe anywhere in Gandhinagar or Ahmedabad. So on that way we cannot say it is his own intellectual property. It is his property, that's true, but it is not gained from the intellectual side, so it is not an intellectual property. So again, house is a byproduct of intellectual property. And similar way, the land, if somebody have 10 acres of land nearby to SG highway, so can we say it is his intellectual property? Answer is certainly no. The same reason, okay, through the intellect you gain the money, and from that money you can purchase the land. So again, it is a byproduct of intellectual property, but it itself is not intellectual property. So far we have seen the different examples of property, but they are all are the byproduct of intellectual property. So now next question, can we say idea as an intellectual property? Idea which comes from the human mind. Yeah, so answer is yes. Idea, we can say it is directly come from the intellectual part of the brain. So from whatever comes from the idea, that comprises of intellectual property. So by these way we can able to bifurcate the property in two parts. One is known as a tangible property, on another side is known as an intangible property. So tangible means that which can be measured, which can be touched, or having some physical form, like whatever the examples that we have seen, like currency, gold, house, land, industry, etc. And intangible, that means which cannot be measured, which cannot be touched, cannot be seen, or do not have any physical forms, like creation of human mind or creation of intellect, examples like ideas. So accordingly, there are different types of intellectual properties that includes innovative ideas, new process, new product, new design, literary or artistic work, logo, brand name, symbol, etc. So all these are the different types of intellectual properties. So now next question comes, how to protect this intellectual property? So again, there are different means to protect all this type of intellectual property. Say for example, if you purchase a new bike, so to protect your bike, what we have to do, you have to go to the RTO, you have to do your own registration in the RTO, and accordingly that particular bike now belongs to you. Similar way, if you purchase a new flat or a new bungalow, you have to do the registration into the sub-registrar kachari of government, and accordingly that particular flat or a bungalow now belongs to you. So for each different properties, government has made an arrangement for different type of offices, and different types of laws are there to protect our properties. Similar way, intellectual property, even though we cannot able to see, but it is our own property if we have generated. So government has provided different type of protections and different types of ways to protect this IP, and this includes patents, trademark, copyright, design, then geographical indication, semiconductor circuit layout design, Plant Variety and Breeders' Right Protection Act, and Trade Secrets Acts. We'll see the examples of each and every one of these 8 different forms of IPR, so it will be clear to all of you. And these are the different acts and laws available in India for each different types of IPR. So say for patents, we have Patents Amendment Act in 2005. For design, we have Design Act 2000. For trademark, we have Trademarks Act 1999. For copyright, we have Copyright Act 1957, and lastly amended in 1999. Then for layout design of integrated circuits, we have Integrated Circuit Layout Design Act 2000. For geographical indications, the Geographical Indication of Goods Act 1999. And for protection of undisclosed information, that is for trade secret, there is no exclusive legislation exist, but the matter would be generally covered under the Contract Act 1872. So these are the different acts provided by the central government to protect different forms of IPR. And in these slides you can see the different illustration for different forms of IPR. Say on the left side you can see a copyright wherein you can see the front page of one book. It is written by some well-known author. So if the author would like to protect his IP, then he has to register his book under the Copyright Act. And similarly you can see another gentleman singing a very good musics. I hope you can able to recognize this gentleman. Yes, he is Mr. A.R. Rahman. So he is a very well known lyricist and musician. So whatever the albums A.R. Rahman is launching, so he tried to protect it in the form of copyright, so that if anybody do the pirated versions of his CD and album, he can lodge a complaint into the copyright board. Accordingly, the copyright inspectors will do the introspection in the case, and if they found anybody is doing a mischief with the copyrighted material of A.R. Rahman, that gentleman would be come under the judicial custody, and whatever the penalty framed by the government, that can be levied on that particular infringer. On the right side you can see the examples of trademarks. You can see very well known cold drinks. Yeah, it is a thumbs up, and another symbol is of cutting apple. Yeah, that is belongs to Apple company. So all these symbols are protected by form of trademarks by the respective company. This trademark can be live till the products are available in the market, even though their inventors, like as you know, the Apple's inventor Mr. Steve Jobs, he is not with us, but it doesn't mean that we can use this particular symbol in any of our product. Till the Apple products are available in market, we cannot use this symbol. In the slide on the left down side you can see some examples of industrial designs. You can see one particular car, the car which is a dream car for any middle-aged individuals, the car which is now manufactured in Gujarat. Yes, can you able to guess? Yeah, you are right, it is Tata Nano car. So Mr. Ratan Tata has did a very fabulous job by launching the Tata Nano in the range of 1 to 1.5 lakhs of rupees. But it doesn't mean that he has not taken any care to protect his IP. Mr. Ratan Tata has filed 37 design application only for Tata Nano. That means how Tata Nano looks from front, back, left, right, rear, how its steering looks like, how it will look like. So it means 37 different angles he has protected. So that's why it is very difficult for his competitor company to make a copycat version of Tata Nano. And that's why since the launch of Tata Nano in 2007 and till in 2013, no company either from Indian sides or even from China can able to launch the product in this particular segment of 1 to 1.5 lakh of rupees, because Tata has created a very strong block in front of all their competitors. So IPR is not only to protect our own rights, but it is also to prevent your competitors to come into your market. Similar way, on the another example you can see about industrial designs, that is about one mobile. Can you able to recognize? Yeah, it is a Samsung Galaxy Tab. So it is again protected by different numbers of industrial designs. On right side bottom you can see geographical indications. Examples includes Darjeeling tea, Kesar mango, etc. We'll discuss about this in the latter half of our session. Then another is trade secrets, wherein the formulations of Coca-Cola and Pepsi can be included, and in the central part you can see the patents, which basically protect any kind of the scientific inventions. So as you all are belongs to scientific fraternity, so patents is directly having a impact on all of our inventions. So we will see first details about the patent and then later on about the other forms of IPR. So now let's see what is the situation of patent in our India. So this gentleman is also confused. He is asking, what is a patent? So let me just simplify it. So patent, that means it provides an exclusive or a negative right. That means if you have a patent, you can exclude all others to use it, to manufacture it, or to sell it, whatever your innovative products or a process you have. So that means government provides you this exclusive right wherein nobody can use it without your permission. Secondly, it is a right provided by statute or a law. That means once you apply to the appropriate authority of the government, if they provide you a patent, so that patent can be protected by Patent Act. That means if somebody violate your rights, there is also procedures wherein you can file your complaint, and accordingly the infringer who have misused your patented inventions without your permission, he can be sued, and the court can able to order him to pay damages, whatever the damages you have claimed, and court has found what is satisfactory, the damages that infringer has to pay, and even there is a provision for judicial custody also. So that means a patent is provided by a statute or as a law. Next, it also having a territorial rights. That means suppose you have filed your patent in India, and now once you file the patent in India, patent office will do the publication of your patented inventions in his official journal, and now this journal is online. So anybody either in Bangladesh or even in Sri Lanka, he can come about to your invention. And if somebody is very smart, he can use your invention in Bangladesh, he can manufacture some products using your inventions, and he can able to sell even in Bangladesh. But as patents are having territorial rights, you cannot stop that gentleman to use your invention in Bangladesh. But if the gentleman manufactured the products in Bangladesh, but now if he sell the products in India, that means he export that particular products to India, at that time definitely you can take a help of our judiciary or a court, and accordingly court can give injunction to that particular gentleman for the exports. So you can able to prevent him to come in Indian market, but regardless of that, that gentleman can able to sell the said product in any other market wherever you do not have your patent protection. So it is very important to understand that the kind of invention you have, the applicability of that invention in which particular country is you might be thinking of, and accordingly it is always advisable that you can file your patents in India as well as in other countries also where you found your patent can be helpful to the innovators or to the some companies. And if you fail to do so, anybody in that countries can able to use your invention at free of cost. So just give more precise brainstorming when you are filing your patent to understand which are the potential market across the world. Next thing, patent provides time limited right, that is for 20 years. So this 20-year cycle will start from the date of first filing. So you file your patent application in Indian Patent Office, your 20-year cycle will begin. After that, it takes roughly around 3 to 5 years to complete all the procedures, but your 20-year cycles will start from the date of filing. So that you have to understand. So Already, as we have discussed, a patent provides a negative right. That means it permits its owner to exclude members of the public from making, using, selling, offering to sell, or importing the claimed invention. So you can exclude all other members to use your inventions. But definitely you can provide them the license, and once they have license, they can do all the procedures that is mentioned in the slide. So in the patents, basically two types of patents are available in India. One is known as a product patent, another is known as a process patent. So suppose you come out with a totally a new kind of gearbox which is nowhere reported anywhere in the world. So it is entirely a new product. So you can get a product patent on the same. But if some kind of gearbox is already available and now you just modify the mechanics of the existing ones so that its efficiency can be increased. So in this case it is regarded as a process, and that can be protected by the process patent. Third type is also that is known as a use patent. But use patent concept is not applicable and available in India. It is available in foreign countries like US, Canada, etc. So under this particular use patent, if any particular pharmaceuticals which is already available in the market and now somebody come out with a new use of existing drug, so that is known as a use patent. But as I already mentioned, such provisions are not available in India. So in this case, the inventor has to file his patent into US and other countries where they are allowing. So next point is subject matters for patent. So these are the subject matters. It may be new process, it may be new product, it may be method of manufacturing, or some machine, apparatus, or any other articles which is useful in the manufacturing process. If they fulfill certain criteria, then and then only they are become eligible for a patent. So which are these criteria? So this is the very important slides. 3 criteria for patentability. I have coined it under the term of 3I principle. So first I, it belongs to innovativeness. That means novelty. So usually when we are doing any research, we try to understand what is the novelty of my research problem and how usually we are doing. Nowadays, because of the internet, we immediately jump into the Google. We try to enter the questions that is there in our mind, and if we found nobody has think of the such questions or nobody has think of the solutions of such questions, we can say our problem is novel, or say problem may be known but the solutions may be novel. So that is a normal conventional way to understand the novelty. Further, we can also do some literature review by sitting in the library and even sitting in the e-library sections, wherein different kind of the databases like Science Direct, PubMed, etc. we can use to figure it out whether either problem fulfill the criteria of novelty or the solution of the same fulfill the criteria of novelty. If either of is there, that means our problem or its solutions or both are novel. But here we are doing a big mistake. By only searching through the Google or searching to the PubMed, Science Direct, or any other journals or any other such kind of the databases, we cannot get complete idea about the novelty. The reason? Because according to the WIPO, there is a World Intellectual Property Organization, head office at Geneva, Switzerland. They have published one article wherein they have mentioned that majority of the innovative ideas and innovative projects are never been published in such kind of conventional form. That means either say in Google or using any of the scientific databases that we are using for our reference purpose, nearly 75% of these informations are not published in this all documents. That means if we are doing our literature review using conventional modality, that means we are only able to check 25% of the novelty lies worldwide. So that means 75% of the part we are not assessing. And if on the result of 25% of the search, if we can say that our project is novel, now let me ask you the question, what is the chances of repetition or duplication of the project? Means 75% part that we have not searched, 25% part we have searched, and accordingly we are claiming that our invention is novel. So what is the chances or the probability of repetition? So answer is there is 75% chances is that whatever the problems or a solution that we have think of, maybe the duplication. Maybe somebody somewhere in the world has already done a work on the same, but it is not published in all this conventional way. Then the question comes in our mind, where this particular 75% of innovative information lies? How can I able to search it? So the answer is that these all 75% of innovative informations are available in the patent documents. And to check these patent documents, we have to do a patent search. And how to do a patent search, that we'll see in our ongoing sessions. But the point is that chances of duplication or replication is 75% times. So let's imagine whatever the project we are doing at our undergraduate, postgraduate, or at our PhD level also, if we have not did thorough patent search, that means your work is even not satisfy the first criteria, that is novelty. So that's why it is very important to do a patent search. Second is inventive step, that means non-obviousness. Let's say see one example. Suppose you are working on some particular gearbox mechanisms. Now you come out with a new solutions so that the gearbox efficiency can be improved 30%. Yeah, that is definitely a good something novel that you have did. But once upon a while you go to nearby your garage, nearby to your college, and if you ask the garage person, okay, I have did something new, let me just explain you. Once you explain about your invention, and if that gentleman who is 10th standard fail, if he smile in front of you, and if he said, okay, my dear, I also knew these things because I am working in this garage since last 10 years, and these simple things I also knowing, okay, how to do some changes in the gearbox and so that its efficiency can be improved. So what does this indicate? Okay, the problem that you have identified and the solution that you have identified is even a lay person like a garage person who is a 10th standard fail can able to think about the solution. So in this perspective we can say, okay, your invention is not satisfy the criteria of non-obviousness and it is obvious. So again, if your invention is such like that, you cannot able to get a patent. And third and very important criteria is industrial utility, that means usefulness. Means what is the ultimate utility of your invention? If it can be commercialized, then and then government can able to give you a patent protection. Otherwise they will not give you a patent rights. So whenever you are going to select your research problem, or if you have already selected the research problem, just try to use this particular concept of 3I once again. So this 3I principle act as a 3 different barriers or 3 different filters that your invention has to pass. to make it patentable. And if your invention fulfill all these three criteria, the chances of yours to get a patent is very high. But again, in our Indian situation, we have to look upon other sections also. So let's understand what is the meaning of invention as per our Indian Patent Act. So under section 21J, it means a new product or a new process involving an inventive step and capable of industrial application. So here this new product, new process, that is means product patent or a process patent, which involves inventive steps, that means non-obviousness, as well as should possess industrial application. So these are important. Then and then we can say, okay, you possess some invention. Let's understand inventive steps as per Indian Patent Act under section 21JA. It means a feature of an invention that involves technical advancement as compared to the existing knowledge or having economic significance or both, and that makes the invention not obvious to a person skilled in the art. So let me simplify this particular definition. So under this, if you have invention which either involves technical advancement as compared to the existing knowledge, or you have to make an invention in such a way that so that it should be economical significance as compared to existing knowledge. So either of these two criteria, one criteria required to be satisfied, then and then we can say, okay, your invention can fulfill the criteria of inventive steps, that means non-obviousness. If it satisfies both the criteria, that is always added advantage. And new invention as per Indian Patent Act under section 21L, it means any invention or technology which has not been anticipated by publication in any document or use in the country or elsewhere in the world. That means the invention you are thinking about, it should not be published or should not be used anywhere in any form anywhere in the world before the date of filing of your patent application. Once you file your patent application, followed by if you do the publication or you start the using of invention, it will not come under this. But before your date of filing, nothing has to be done either in publication form or in a use form. So you have to be take very care that before even you go for a publication or presentation of your invention in some scientific conference, you should not have to disclose your invention that you are thinking for a patent. So first file a patent, then go for publication, presentation, or even a submission to regulatory bodies like GTU. Now next is capable of industrial application as per Indian Patent Act under section 21AC. So in relation to an invention, it means that the invention is capable of being made or used in an industry. So as I have discussed that your invention should be such like that in a large scale it can be explored and industry should get benefit out of your invention. Then and then your invention become eligible for this criteria of industrial application. So apart from this particular patentability criteria, in India we have certain sections under which even though your invention fulfill this 3I principle, then also it should not get a patent, because we have certain sections, that is known as section 3 and section 4, which gives us an idea about the non-patentable subject matters. So this includes laws of nature and any discovery related to nature. Say for example Einstein and Newton, they come out with their respective theory and they become world famous, and even today we are studying their theories. So they have did a very drastic change across the globe, but again they have did a discovery. So Einstein work cannot be patented, or Newton's theory cannot be patented. But if you use the Einstein theory as your base, and accordingly you have developed a new product or a new process, so that product or process can eligible to get a patent, but the theory or a law of nature itself cannot eligible to get a patent. Further, mathematical equations, business methods, and computer program per se, that means softwares. So far softwares are not patentable in India, but I just would like to add one more point over here. Microsoft, which is a software giant across the world, they are filing approximately 1000 patents per year in India. Yeah, that is the data from our Indian Patent Office. Microsoft is filing 1000 patents per year in India. So how it is possible? One side the law state like that a computer program, that means softwares are not patentable. On another side, Microsoft, which is a software giant, they are filing more than 1000 patents per year. So yeah, so that is true. And the thing is like that there are different means. Even you are working in computer engineering, you have developed some new softwares which address some particular problems, even though you get a patent. How to do so, that we will discuss in another sessions. But if you just would like to see how softwares can get a patent, I would just suggest you to go for our Indian Patent Office website. Just add a word of Microsoft, you will get the list of Microsoft patents, and just read any of the patents. So you will get the answer of this particular question. How softwares, even though they are not patentable, but how Microsoft smartly can able to get a patent on it. Okay. Further, mere discovery of new use or a new property of non-substance is not patentable in India. This particular section is applicable to pharmaceuticals, as already we have seen. One drug which is already available in market, if you come out with a new use of that drug, you cannot get a patent on a new use. Similarly, mere admixture of two compounds to give additive effect. If you know compound A is doing this particular activity, compound B is doing another activity, and now you combine compound A with compound B. So obviously, if they gives the additive effect, in that case this admixture cannot get a patent. But if this admixture give the activity more than of this compound 1 and compound 2, then in that case we can say it provides synergistic actions, and accordingly if it provides a synergistic action, in that case it can be a patentable subject matter. Further, mere arrangement and rearrangement of two or more devices which are working independently, they are not patentable. That is under section 3F. I'm just going to discuss a little bit more in our next slides, but let's see other non-patentable subject matters. Plants and animals, either whole or a part, they cannot be patentable, but except microorganisms. That means if you have developed a new strain of microorganisms in your microbiology lab, that means some genetical modifications that you have did, or some recombinant DNA technology that you have used. So using that, if you have modified the microorganisms, you can get a patent on the said microorganism itself, as well as the process to produce such microorganisms. But for plants and animals, even though you cannot get a patent anyway. Further, a method of agriculture and horticulture, that means how to do seedings, how to do croppings, so that the yield of crops can be increased. So if you come out with a new process of agriculture, which might be good also, but even though as per this our Indian section 3, you cannot get a patent on such methods because they are included under the non-patentable subject matter. Similarly, artistic, literary, dramatic work cannot get a patent in India, so they are protected by the copyright. Further, inventions related to atomic energy, that also are not patentable in India as per section 4. We'll see the section 3F in more details because it is more relevant to engineering domain. What it tells to us: an improvement on something known before or a combination of different matters already known should be something more than a mere workshop improvement and must independently satisfy the test of invention or an inventive step. So again, this is a one statutory definitions. So let me just simplify it. So according to section 3F, if you have combined one particular embodiments with another embodiments in one particular machine, and if in this machine both these embodiments work independently, in that case, even though this combination is new or say novel, even though you cannot get a patent on the such new embodiments and combinations. Let me give some examples to you so that the things will be clear. I am directly going to the examples. That is umbrella with fan. Somebody come out with a new type of umbrella wherein he has attached the fan in this umbrella. So as we all know, the umbrella can be used in the rainy season, but it also can be used in the summer season also. So this gentleman think of to add a fan in this umbrella. So that is a fantastic idea. It is a novel. Nowhere it is available anywhere in the world. So it fulfills the first criteria of novelty. Again, it is a non-obvious because nobody has so far think of about this particular umbrella with fan. And there is a utility also, because if such kind of things are available in market, so people and consumers will definitely go for this product because consumers can able to use such product in two different seasons, in rainy seasons as well in summer seasons. But here again section 3F came as a barrier. So as we have seen here, umbrella and fan, this gentleman has attached, but both are working independently. Umbrella, its work is independent. Fan, there is a definitely one switch is given in this umbrella through which we can do the switch on, switch off, but again it is working independently. So according to section 3F, though this combination fulfill all our 3I principle, but it is not patentable and hence the application was rejected. This gentleman did not get a patent. Similar way, another example, bucket fitted with torch, wherein one particular gentleman come out with this new type of bucket wherein the torch is attached. So particularly he has realized the problem of the rural women's, wherein rural women has to go at the far side to fetch out the drinking water early in the morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So if they bring torch in their one hand, that means they can able to occupy only one bucket in their another hand. So this gentleman realized this social problem and he come out with this new type of bucket wherein the torch is attached. So yeah, again concept is novel, it is a non-obvious because nobody has think of, and again there is a utility also. If such kind of buckets are available in market, such rural women will appreciate such invention. Am I right? But again, section 3F comes as a barrier, wherein as we have seen, the bucket is working differently, independently, torch it's working independently. So accordingly, This gentleman's patent application was also rejected by the patent office. And similar way, clock and transistor in a single cabinet. Both clock and transistors are working independently, so on that regards, the patent filed by the applicant was rejected. Now let's see some facts about the Indian patents. So the term for any patent in India is of 20 years from the date of filing of application, either provisional filing or a complete filing. And in India we follows first to file rule. That means whosoever filed the patent first, he will enjoy the rights. Say if you are working in a group of 4 colleagues, out of 4, if someone who is very smart, if he reaches to the patent office first and he files the invention in his name, then patent office will give the right to him because he was the first. Though you 3 have worked equally, but you have not make any kind of the memorandum of understanding. So in that case again it is a big legal matter. So that's why it is always advisable that when you are working in a group, make some common understanding so that whenever there is a chances to get a patent, you all should get the equal rights. And if you file the provisional application, that means it happens in initial stage of your research. Okay, you have conceptualized some idea, you have started little bit research work, but still you require some time to finish your work. So meanwhile the question comes, do you have any provisions to protect your ideas or a concept? The answer is yes. How to do so? To do so, you have to file provisional application, wherein you have to disclose only your concepts in a very brief manner to the patent office, and accordingly patent office will give you a patent number with the priority date, and patent office will also provide you 12 months to complete your research. So within 12 months you have to finish your research, you have to generate the data, and then you have to submit complete application to the patent office. Then and then your provisional would be valid. So this is again something very important that you have to understand. If you come out with the new ideas and concept during identifications of your IDPs and UDPs during 7th semester, you can able to also file provisional patent application, and then within 12 months complete your project, generate the data and submit complete applications to the patent office. That is equally valid. And there are basically 3 ways of applying to Indian Patent Office. First is known as a national application, wherein we can file, as I mentioned, using either provisional application or a complete application. Second way is to file conventional application. Say if suppose you are interested to file your patent application in multiple countries at a time, so in that case conventional application is useful to you, wherein within 12 months of first filing you have to file your application in all interested countries. But here the limitation is that you will get only 12 months to take a decision in which different countries you would like to file. So that's why a next provision is also available, which is very important when you are interested to go for international filing. That is known as a PCT application. The full form is Patent Cooperation Treaty Applications, wherein once you file patent application in India using PCT applications, you will get 31 months time to take a decision in which of the countries you are interested. So obviously you will get more time as compared to the conventional application, wherein only 12 months was provided to you, but now 31 months you have to take a decision in which different countries you are interested, and your priority is also side by side secured from the date of filing of your PCT application in India. and within 31 months you have to take a decision in which respective countries you are interested. Okay, now next question comes, where to file patent application in India? So in India we have 4 patent offices at our 4 metro cities like Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai and Chennai. We have to apply according to our geographical location in respective office. Say we are belongs to Gujarat, so Gujarat comes under the Mumbai jurisdictions, so we have to file our patent application in Mumbai only. Let's take a break for 5 minutes.